Welcome to the presentation of our research titled Electromagnetic Theory and Pandemic, Longitudinal Analysis 2019 to 2025. This study is part of the International Interdisciplinary Congress on Renewable Energies, Industrial Maintenance, Mechatronics, and Computer Science, Cier 2025, organized by Ecorfon. The research team is composed of Pedro Guzmán-Tinajero as first author, Víctor Hugo Hernández-Gómez as first co-author, Aide Castro-Fuentes as second co-author, and Adriana Yáñez-Hernández as third co-author. All authors are affiliated with the Facultad de Estudios Superiores Cuautitlán, UNAM, and are registered researchers with ORCID and CONACYT identification numbers. This slide introduces the academic framework and authorship of the work we'll be discussing today. This slide presents the main structure of our research presentation. We begin with the introduction, where we explain the context and motivation behind the study. Then, we move to the methodology, describing the procedures, tools, and data sources used throughout the investigation. The analysis section includes the interpretation of results obtained during the study period, highlighting key findings and correlations. Next, we share the conclusions, which summarize the most important insights and implications of our research. We then present the acknowledgments, recognizing the institutions and individuals who contributed to this work. Finally, we include the references, which list the scientific and academic sources that supported our study. At the end of 2019, in the city of Wuhan, China, a new and highly contagious virus appeared, the SARS-CoV-2, which soon caused one of the most significant pandemics in modern times, COVID-19. The rapid spread of this disease drastically changed daily life across the world, particularly in the field of education. In response to this health emergency, the National Autonomous University of Mexico, UNAM, assumed its social responsibility by suspending face-to-face classes and shifting academic instruction to remote learning. This transition represented a major challenge for the educational community, demanding adaptation to digital tools, new teaching strategies, and distance education environments. This transition to remote education had a deep impact across all UNAM campuses, including its multidisciplinary branches such as the Faculty of Higher Studies Cuautitlán, commonly known as FESC. FESC is a distinguished academic institution located in Cuautitlán Izcalli, in the state of Mexico. Since its inauguration on April 22, 1974, it has consolidated more than 5 decades of educational excellence, contributing significantly to higher education in Mexico. Currently, FESC offers 17 undergraduate programs and serves a student population of approximately 18,000 students. This institutional context provides the foundation for understanding how FESC, as part of UNAM, adapted to the challenges imposed by the pandemic and the shift to distance learning. Within the Telecommunications, Systems, and Electronics Engineering program, known in Spanish as ITSE, at FESC, the course Electromagnetic Theory plays a fundamental role. Positioned in the 5th semester, this subject combines both theoretical and practical components, integrating laboratory work into its academic structure. The course carries a total of 10 mandatory credits, reflecting its significant weight in the curriculum and its contribution to the comprehensive training of future engineers. Through this course, students develop analytical and problem-solving skills essential for understanding electromagnetic phenomena, which are the foundation of modern communication and electronic systems. After the health emergency concluded, professors from the physics department at FESC began to analyze the effectiveness of remote teaching and its long-term impact on student learning outcomes. This initiative was carried out with the institutional support of UNAM through the Program to Support Projects for Innovation and Improvement in Teaching, PAPIM, coordinated by the General Directorate for Academic Personnel Affairs, DGAPA. These programs have played a key role in promoting educational innovation and continuous improvement, encouraging academic staff to design strategies that enhance both the quality and accessibility of university teaching. This research, therefore, emerged from a collaborative effort to strengthen post-pandemic teaching practices within the Faculty of Higher Studies Cuautitlán. The authors are members of the PAPIME 103424 project, titled Development of Teaching Materials for the Electromagnetic Theory course. For several years, this research group has focused on studying how social, psychological, and environmental factors influence the academic performance of students enrolled in the electromagnetic theory course. As part of this project, data were systematically collected on student failure rates in this subject over 11 academic periods, covering the years 2019 to 2025. This longitudinal approach allows for the identification of trends and variables that may have affected learning outcomes, particularly during and after the pandemic period. This study follows a quantitative, descriptive, and longitudinal approach. The main objective was to analyze approval and failure rates in the electromagnetic theory course, which is part of the 5th semester in the Telecommunications, Systems, and Electronics Engineering (ITSE) program, offered by FES at UNAM. Data were collected from institutional records covering 11 academic periods, from August 2019 to January 2025. These records were organized according to the academic calendar to maintain a consistent analytical framework. Both regular and extraordinary evaluations were included in the analysis. Furthermore, the PAPIME 103424 project served as a support instrument for data systematization and interpretation under the supervision of the physics department. This methodological design ensured the reliability of the results and allowed for a detailed observation of student performance trends over time. The total number of students who passed and failed the electromagnetic theory course was calculated for each calendar year, and relative percentages were obtained to identify performance trends over time. The results revealed a clear fluctuation associated with the pandemic and the gradual return to in-person classes. In parallel, the research team identified 7 distinct stages within the academic timeline, corresponding to the different phases of the pandemic and its educational consequences. As shown in Figure 1, these stages include the pre-pandemic period, the start of remote learning, the peak of lockdown stress, the return to campus in 2022, the hybrid adjustment phase, and the post-pandemic normalization and consolidation. This graphical representation makes it possible to visualize how student performance evolved through these transitions and the progressive adaptation to new learning environments. By analyzing the passing percentages and correlating them with the contextual stages defined earlier, we can identify key patterns in student performance. During the 2020-1 academic period, which covered August 2019 to January 2020, the passing rate was 69.9%. This was considered moderately low, as it reflected traditional academic conditions, standardized grading, face-to-face laboratory work, and regular evaluation criteria. All before the pandemic. In contrast, during the 2020-2 period, corresponding to February through July 2020, the passing rate increased sharply to 86.5%. This rise coincided with the sudden transition to remote learning and is attributed to institutional flexibility, lighter academic workloads, and more lenient evaluation policies adopted in response to the health emergency. This initial comparison highlights how external circumstances, rather than purely academic factors, began influencing performance outcomes. During the 2021-1 academic period, from August 2020 to January 2021, the electromagnetic theory course reached the peak of remote learning. The passing rate was 86.2%, indicating that both students and faculty had already adapted to digital platforms and online evaluation systems. Assessments continued under flexible academic standards, which contributed to high performance levels and a relatively stable learning environment despite ongoing restrictions. In the following semester, 2021-2, from February to July 2021, remote learning remained the primary mode of instruction, with a passing rate of 84.2%. Although some students began reporting digital fatigue and emotional stress, these factors were not yet significantly reflected in academic outcomes, suggesting temporary resilience within the learning community. The 2022-1 academic period, covering August 2021 to January 2022, marked the beginning of the transition back to in-person classes. During this phase, the passing rate dropped to 68.4%, showing a clear decline compared to previous semesters. This reduction can be explained by the challenges of readapting to face-to-face instruction after 2 years of remote learning. Students needed to recover hands-on skills, adjust to new academic rhythms, and overcome emotional and cognitive fatigue. By the following semester, 2022-2, from February to July 2022, with a complete return to on-campus learning, starting on August 8, 2022, the situation improved significantly. The passing rate increased to 86.5%. This recovery was driven by institutional support measures, including extended deadlines for projects, flexible report submissions, and academic reinforcement activities. During the 2023-1 academic period, from August 2022 to January 2023, the electromagnetic theory course was taught under a hybrid education model that combined online and in-person sessions. The passing rate was 71.1%, showing moderate results as both students and professors adapted to this mixed methodology. The coexistence of digital tools with face-to-face instruction required adjustments in class dynamics, time management, and laboratory work, which temporarily affected overall performance. By the following semester, 2023-2, from February to July 2023, the passing rate improved to 78.6%. This improvement reflected the growing confidence of both students and instructors in the blended model. The combination of flexibility and accessibility offered by hybrid learning proved to be beneficial for academic continuity and gradual recovery in student performance. During the 2024-1 academic period, from August 2023 to January 2024, the electromagnetic theory course entered the normalization phase. The passing rate was 76.7%, showing a moderate recovery and reflecting the return to pre-pandemic academic rigor. However, despite the normalization of evaluation standards, residual academic and emotional gaps persisted among students. Some continued to struggle with motivation, adaptation, and stress management after years of irregular learning conditions. In contrast, the 2024-2 period, from February to July 2024, experienced a significant decline in performance, with a passing rate of only 62.2%, the lowest in the entire series. This drop is associated with a noticeable increase in student stress, anxiety, and depression, which also contributed to higher dropout rates. These results suggest that the long-term effects of the pandemic extended beyond academics, influencing students' emotional well-being and persistence in their studies. The 2025-1 academic period, from August 2024 to January 2025, represents the beginning of a phase of post-pandemic recovery in the electromagnetic theory course. During this semester, the passing rate improved to 68.6%, indicating the first positive signs of stabilization after several years of fluctuation. Although the results had not yet reached pre-pandemic peaks, this improvement reflects the early effects of pedagogical and institutional reforms, as well as a gradual adaptation to new teaching methodologies. To address the emotional and academic challenges faced by students, the authors and instructors implemented a variety of innovative strategies. These included the use of digital simulators, artificial intelligence tools for interactive learning, prototype development, and digital platforms for feedback and assignment review. Together, these initiatives aim to enhance engagement, motivation, and student confidence, marking a turning point toward educational resilience. As part of the electromagnetic theory course, students not only engage in theoretical learning but also apply their knowledge through hands-on projects. One notable example is the development of a support system for blind individuals, designed to assist with spatial awareness and mobility. Projects like this encourage students to apply electromagnetic principles creatively while addressing real-world social challenges. Through this kind of work, students maintain focus, strengthen their problem-solving skills, and increase their motivation and interest in the subject. The image on this slide, Figure 4, illustrates the initial phase of the prototype, highlighting the use of sensors and circuit integration to detect obstacles and provide tactile feedback. Such experiences promote multidisciplinary collaboration and demonstrate the transformative potential of engineering education when theory is connected to purpose. The analysis of academic performance in the subject electromagnetic theory, part of the telecommunications, Systems, and Electronics Engineering, its program at FESC UNAM, covered 11 academic periods from 2019 to 2025. The results reveal distinct variations directly associated with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the transition between educational modalities, from in-person to remote, hybrid, and back to traditional instruction. The data show that during distance learning, there was an initial increase in pass rates, largely due to institutional flexibility and adaptation strategies that eased academic requirements in response to the global crisis. However, once face-to-face classes resumed, a notable decline in performance was observed. The authors attribute this reduction to emotional and psychological factors, such as stress, anxiety, and depression. Alongside the challenges of pedagogical and methodological readjustments required for reintegration into the classroom environment. Overall, the findings emphasize the need for continued support mechanisms and innovative teaching practices to strengthen resilience and academic performance in the post-pandemic educational landscape. The most critical period in the analysis was identified as 2024-2, which registered the lowest passing rate in the entire study. This situation triggered the implementation of a series of academic and emotional support strategies designed to counteract the decline in student performance. These included the use of simulators, digital learning platforms, artificial intelligence tools, and prototype development projects, all aimed at motivating students, fostering engagement, and strengthening their learning processes. By integrating these strategies, the teaching team sought to reestablish academic balance and promote active learning in a post-pandemic environment. Finally, the improvement observed in 2025-1 suggests that these initiatives began to show positive results, marking the start of a gradual academic recovery. Nonetheless, it remains essential to continue fostering educational innovation, ensure emotional support systems, and maintain ongoing performance monitoring to fully consolidate post-pandemic academic resilience and success. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to the National Autonomous University of Mexico, UNAM, for its continuous support and commitment to academic excellence. We also acknowledge the General Directorate for Academic Personnel Affairs, DGAPA, the Faculty of Higher Studies, Cuautitlán, FESC, and specifically the Department of Physics and the Electromagnetic Theory Faculty Board, whose collaboration made this research possible. Our special thanks go to Mr. Holland Michel Herrera for providing the facilities and assistance necessary for the development of this work. Funding. This project was carried out with the valuable support of the UNAM DGAPA PAPIM PE 103424 program, which promotes innovation and improvement in teaching practices. We sincerely appreciate the institutional trust that allowed this study to contribute to the advancement of educational research and engineering training. The references that supported this research are divided into two main categories: antecedents and basics. In the first group, we included Arnau and Bono, 2008, whose work on longitudinal and descriptive models provided the methodological foundation for our study design. We also relied on UNESCO's 2021 report, Reimagining Our Futures Together, which offered a global perspective on the educational transformations derived from the COVID-19 pandemic. In the second group, the DGAP 2025 regulations of the PAPIM program were used as a reference for the institutional framework that guided this project. These sources together provided both the academic rigor and institutional alignment necessary to ensure the reliability and impact of our findings. Finally, we hope this research contributes to improving pedagogical practices and inspires further studies in the field of educational resilience and adaptation. Thank you very much for your attention.